I've been playing a pretty fun thing today that I
Yeah?
haven't finished yet, but my first, couple of hours with have been way more positive than I anticipated, and I'm really digging it. I started playing My Friendly Neighbourhood.
Okay.
You aware of this?
I think I've heard the name. I can't remember the game.
So I think this came out, yesterday, so, a couple of days before recording. Gameplay-wise, I'm gonna describe it as, being kind of similar to Resident Evil 4 or maybe BioShock in some ways, but it is a horror puzzle exploration game set in the TV studio that is used to film a Muppet-style, Sesame Street-style preschoolers' children's show. And the short version of the premise is you are a grumpy old repairman who's been sent to shut down an aerial on the roof of the building because on TV last night a broadcast started happening that wasn't supposed to be happening of puppets eating themselves and eating each other, and it was a bit weird. So you've been sent to just go go turn off the antenna, it'll be fine. And the puppets are alive, and you gotta do your horror-y, explory kind of thing. So, first of all, I want to note that I assumed this was gonna be a bit one-hit wonder in terms of spooky setting, but deliberate contrast with colourful silliness, and that is a part of it, and it's a big part of it, and we'll get to that in a minute. But mechanically and genre-wise, I was kind of caught off guard because structurally, this is a Resident Evil game. In that you have essentially the briefcase mechanic for organizing on a grid, and you can only keep so much equipment with you at a time. You are trying to find keys, sometimes kind of elaborate styles of keys to open doors, but because it's a children's TV set, they're all color-coded it's the blue triangle door, yay! To sort of open up progression paths and keep working through this studio, and it very much feels like sort of mansion exploration in some of the earlier Resident Evils, in the way that it's sort of paced. You have these puppets that are roaming around the studio that can be defeated, but not permanently, because they are puppets, and you do not have a permanent... You're a repairman. You did not come here with a gun or anything. You do at one point find a novelty gun that shoots oversized letters that you can use to temporarily knock out a puppet until the next time you come back to a room. If you go looking around, there are limited use rolls of duct tape. So if you knock out a puppet and then duct tape it, tightened up in a ball, then it's incapacitated and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Most areas seem like they have one big roaming puppet that is too big to deal with, and you just have to kind of avoid it in a slightly Nemesis-esque fashion. You just gotta avoid the ire of 10-foot-tall Big Bird that is scouring looking around for you. The gunplay in it is pretty good. There sometimes feels a little inconsistency as to how many bullets it's gonna take to take a puppet down, that I can't work out if that's based on where on the puppet I'm shooting or not. But generally, it's kind of fun in the way that I enjoyed, and this is going to be a weird comparison, but Steph, you played Yoshi's Crafted World, right?
Yes.
So you know how that game had the colourful, forward-facing cardboard environments you were exploring, and then at a certain point, the levels would turn around, and you'd be behind the set dressing.
Yeah.
Running around the back. It's got a lot of that going on.
Okay.
Where you are exploring, doing I'm trying to find all the pieces to unlock the elaborate door or whatever, on the Sesame Street set. And then you'll find a door that isn't particularly labelled and go through it, and now you're in the backdrop. The sections where the people would have been doing the lighting and the curtains, and then you come back into a different building because it's all one set. And the way they use that ability to go backstage and then take backstage entrances into places as part of how the puzzle of navigation works is really smart. I think they've done a good job of making that feel natural and giving you a clear idea of how you would navigate around locked doors to come a different way into places. The thing that I think carries it, in some ways, is the idea of your horror game, but it's with silly puppets, lives and dies in many ways on the execution of how those puppets behave and how they're voice acted. First of all, there is a lot of original dialogue for these puppets. I have yet to find them repeating themselves, which I think helps a lot. They have got very believable children's performance puppet voice actor types in there. And they've done a very good job of gradually building up the way that they do their delivery. They don't jump straight away into dialing it up to 100%. You have a very gradual curve that starts with, this is just, it sounds like the puppeteer is repeating their lines, practicing for today's episode, and just slowly enough introducing little things that aren't quite right, said in a very jovial voice, before a puppet notices you and goes, yeah, and starts running at you, arms flailing in the air with a bit too much, little too much excitement at you. It's really fun. I think it's really struck the balance of seeming like it's going to be silly just long enough before each time that it goes, oh yeah, you thought you had a handle on this. Yeah, no, this is a little more than you expected. The surprises and the shocks and the moments where it bends expectation are really well paced. And it's just fun. Putting, its intentions to be a horror experience aside, it's just very good, silly fun to fire novelty, oversized letters of the alphabet at a Muppet that is running at you screaming, I want to give you a hug. Let's be friends, be a good neighbor. And I'm like, no, thank you, get away. I'm not usually into... I know there's a whole genre that Five Nights at Freddy's sort of spiraled into of cutesy or child-aimed environment or character that is present in a horror thing. This is the one that's really gotten me. It's self-aware and understands what it is, and plays around with that both for humour and for subversion of expectation of when horror drops are going to come. It knows that horror and comedy are two sides of the same coin and uses that really well. So, yeah, My Friendly Neighbourhood, I'm a couple of hours in, and I think it's really good.
I am very, very intrigued by that one.
Yeah,
Very much.
I think it's worth checking out. It seems like something kind of special. Also, just as a side note, I knew they were going to be on the right track with who they were getting on for puppeteering stuff, because one of the characters is a little sock puppet, and I was like, why do I know this voice? Who is voice acting this? It's a YouTuber called Arlo, whose whole thing is being a puppeteer of a big fuzzy Muppet.
Oh, I know of Arlo. Arlo is a fan of the Jimquisition, actually.
Yeah, Arlo's lovely, but Arlo voices a sock puppet that you encounter early on, and once I realized that, I was like, oh, you're getting people who actually do puppeteering and puppet voices on for this. This is a good sign you understand how to get good puppet energy going. But yeah, they've done a really good job with it.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds good.